Hi, I'm Gareth Dyton, and I'm joined today by episode 8, and we're here to talk about this fantastic album from this Western Supermare duo. It's going to be released by SWND Records. So, actually, speaking of experimental, like sort of death metal, drum and bass industrial combo, I suppose that leads us quite nicely onto Glaciers. Just joking, it doesn't really.
People will be searching this album now, think they did what?
That's actually sort of an in-joke between us. It's not experimental industrial kind of death metal by any stretch of imagination. That's kind of our kind of friendly humour. This one.
Yeah, I don't sound like Napalm Death when I sing.
Well, not all the time.
Not always, no.
Not always.
Not until the remix album.
Yeah. Once I've had a glass of water in the morning, it's a little bit more musical, you know. I think this is probably one of the. I think this might have been like the second track that we wrote between us after we did 1,000 Years of Sorrow.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the earlier ones that we did, and again it was kind of like a really kind of like cool sort of like moody soundscape that Ian sent me, and you know, thinking like what can I mean, I kind of like I'm if I write things or if I'm kind of writing with other people, then it tends to be very much like, honestly, anybody listening to this is like, she's waffling. It's like, because I've got a cat butt in my face. Okay, start again. I work very much on like a feel. So I kind of like, you know, what's going to have the right feel for this song, and what's the right kind of going to conjure up the right mood. Mm-hmm. And I think that was you know how I approached this one, and then had this kind of, again, this sort of like repetitive like run away, and I can't remember exactly how that came up, but I just kind of like the idea of that sort of like rolling sort of like lyric. And then I found this really cool kind of, I can't remember what instrument it was like a Chinese Urdu or something odd like that I had in my kind of like music software, which I was just like messing around with it and put that over the top in certain bits and just kind of gave a little phrase here and there, and I'm like, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
That's my musical contribution to that one. And again, I think I just find it really interesting how you know, how kind of like we layer things up and then we almost like don't quite know. It's like making a cake without having any idea what the other person is actually baking, and then by the end of it you have this really tasty thing, and it could be a hideous disaster because somebody could be doing like brie and then marzipan and
peanut butter and Marmite. Yeah,
exactly. But actually it's kind of like, you know, it's unexpected because you don't necessarily know what you're aiming for, because we tend to kind of put things together, you know, on our own and then merge them.
Yeah.
And I just yeah, it just seemed to work. It was another one that just seemed to kind of like come together.
Yeah, I think when I was doing music, I sort of had sussed the way, I keep saying how we were going to sort of sound or try to sound, and I've always liked, when I listen to music, I listen to a mellow track but still can't help sort of nodding to a sort of mellow track, and I think I tried to do that with Glacier, with a sort of like just almost like a sway bounce to it with and then with the chorus of run away, it seemed to work. That's right. Work quite sort of well with it, I think. And then I think you might have put the vocals on centre back to me, and then I sort of adjusted a couple of things to build it up, and then obviously then you added the little keyboard bits on top, and I think it seems to work quite well. Like I say, it seems to fall into place.
Yeah, it's got a nice kind of like, you know, that kind of bass line that goes through it is really nice, and it's you're very good at rhythm. You are very good at coming up with different kind of like tempos and rhythms, and I think that's a real kind of gift.
Nice.
You guys.
You guys. Let's all have a big group hug now. Come on. Well, a massive thank you to Ian and Maddie for sort of asking me to actually kind of talk to them and to tell you lovely people out there about their fantastic album in hushed tones. If you've enjoyed actually kind of listening to us chatting, you can find me. Like I said, I'm the co-host on a podcast I do with Grammy Award-winning music producer Lord Toby Wright. It's called My Right Stuff, and there's new episodes out every fortnight, and you can find us on YouTube or wherever you get your quality podcast entertainment from. Take care, no star.